My name is Riley Four, and in my research paper, I discussed early feminism in poetry during the time periods covered this semester, which were, in my case, the early 1600s through the late 1800s. Men and women were not always treated as equals, and it is shown through this work that we have read in this class. I went over what feminism means, which is the idea that men and women should have equal rights and opportunities. I discussed the work of two prominent American writers, Anne Bradstreet and Emily Dickinson. They played a significant role in early feminism through their poetry, and it inspired so many other women to stand up for their rights. Anne Bradstreet showed early feminism in her work, The Prologue, and many of her other poems. That was just the most famous one. I gave examples of analysts such as Tamara Harvey and Louisa Hall, who shared their take on explaining feminism in Bradstreet's work and how it affected society. I also covered Emily Dickinson, who was also an early feminist, but at a later time. Her work, including I Came to Buy a Smile and A Solemn Thing, show signs of early feminism as well. Analyst Ellen Mowers covered Emily Dickinson's style in her article, which was explained in my essay as well. It was the writers such as Anne Bradstreet and Emily Dickinson and so many more that expressed early feminism through their work that changed society. Anne Bradstreet was born Anne Dudley in 1612 in England. She married Simon Bradstreet, a graduate from Cambridge University, at the age of 16. 2 years later, Bradstreet, along with her husband and parents, immigrated to America with the Winthrop Puritan group. They finally settled in Massachusetts, where her and her husband would raise 8 children. She became one of the first poets to write verse in the American colonies. So that was a big accomplishment for her. During that time, Bradstreet penned many of the poems that would be taken to England by her brother-in-law without her knowledge, and published in 1650 under the title The 10th Muse, lately sprung up in America. Emily Dickinson was born in December 10th, 1830, a little later than Anne Bradstreet, in Massachusetts. She attended Mount Holyoke Female Seminary in South Hadley, but only for 1 year. Her father, Edward Dickinson, was actively involved in state politics and served in Congress for 1 term. She secretly created bundles of poetry and wrote hundreds of letters due to a discovery by her sister. Dickinson's remarkable work was published after her death on May 15th, 1886, and she is now considered one of the towering figures in American literature. Let's see. I was interested in writing on this topic because I feel like feminism still occurs today, and I was just drawn to write about this because I already knew a little bit about feminism and the time period, but I still had little knowledge on the subject, and after writing this paper, I gained so much more knowledge on the writers, the time period, feminism, and I also just really enjoyed reading Anne Bradstreet and Emily Dickinson's work. it's always fun to see the way things change over time, and interesting to read about the people who played a role in that change. And I just had a really fun time writing this essay and enjoyed getting to know that time period a little more.